Hello, I'm back. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Raksha. I'm a fine artist from Bengaluru, India. And on my channel, I document my journey to becoming a successful artist. So if you want to follow me on my journey, you can support this struggling artist by subscribing to my channel. And today I want to show you my new work and talk about it. So let's get into it. Okay, so are you ready for the reveal? Here we go. So this is a part of the architecture series that I'm working on. You can check out the previous works on my channel where I talk about them. And this particular work is about the relationship between ancient architecture and the tradition of ancestral worship across Asia, mainly South and East Asia. Okay, so ancestor worship is very common in a lot of cultures, and particularly in Asia, each country has their own way of paying respect to their ancestors. Like, for example, in India, we have 2 weeks dedicated solely to the worship of ancestors, paying respects to them and honoring the dead. It's right before Diwali, and we offer a ball of rice and sesame seed, which is called pinda, and we offer them in the name of ancestors. Like, they say that during the Pitru Paksha, sometimes your ancestors visit you, and sometimes they call out your name, or they call out for you, and they're sometimes hungry. So to satiate their hunger and make sure that they're at peace, they offer them pinda, which is rice and sesame seed. Sometimes they also offer a mix of rice flour, wheat flour, and other things. So in some cultures, they also offer fruits. It depends on each country. So during Pitru Paksha, these are the rituals that are done, and they are mainly done in particular places like temples situated on the banks of certain rivers, like holy rivers. And in India, you can find all these ancient temples where they do Pindadana during Pitru Paksha. So these temples hold a very significant place, and they say it's very auspicious if you perform rituals and venerate your ancestors at these places. So let's get into it. This is the Jagannath Puri temple in Odisha. This is the Badrinath temple, and behind that is the Brahma Kapil Ghat. It's said that, according to a legend, Lord Shiva severed one of Brahma's head, and it's also said to be the place where Brahma performed yajna to honor his wife who died, Savitri. So it holds a very significant place during Pitru Paksha and the rituals they perform during that time. And then we have Matrugaya, which is located in Gujarat. Now, interesting thing is during Pitru Paksha, the rituals that are associated with ancestor worship is usually done for the father's ancestors, like fathers. But there are a couple of exceptions, and Matrugaya is one of the places where they pay respect to the mother's side of the ancestors of the mother's side. Sorry. So yeah, so this is one of the places, and below that is the Manikarnika Ghat and the Skindia Ghat in Varanasi. And Varanasi is like a highly significant place for burying the dead, cremating the dead, and to perform the Pitru Paksha rituals. And this is the Mahakaleshwar temple in Ujjain. This is the Trimbakeshwar temple. And then we have Bodh Gaya, which is very significant for both Hindus and Buddhists. And it's one of the places where they do Pindadan. And this is the Arulmigu temple in Tamil Nadu. Then this is the Haridwar, Kedarnath Haridwar, yeah. Then we have Jain Ghat. Even Jains perform rituals for their ancestor, and it's located in Varanasi on the bank of the Ganga river. And these are the Parlia stones located in Gujarat. Now, it's interesting because they carve these stones and erect them in the name of their ancestors. And some of the carvings depict warriors, which is quite interesting and something very different from the other traditions in India. And then we have the megaliths from the Khasi tribe in Meghalaya. So these stones are erected in the name of their mother's ancestors, the name of the matrilineal ancestors. Hope I'm saying that right. So yeah, Meghalaya, the northeast states are very unique and interesting, and I did a lot of research for this project, and I could find very little information about the ancestor worship in the northeastern states. But the Khasi Megalis of Meghalaya, like from the Khasi tribe, is for sure very unique. And in Assam, they have this thing called Meda Meifi. Forgive me for not pronouncing it right. So basically, it's about ancestor worship, but they consider ancestors as gods. Like they say, the ancestors become gods. So the heads that are in the circle is associated with that. And in Assam, they offer meat and other foods to their ancestors, which is again different from what is traditionally done across the rest of India. And this is the Siddhavat temple. It's not a temple, this is like a huge lamp thing, like a pillar where you can light diya. So in the temple, they have this thing. It's in Siddhavat. And then we have Dwarkadish temple from Gujarat. So I like to hide a little bit of astrological aspect in my work now. So the throne and the palanquin you see in my work is the symbol of Magha Nakshatra. So in Vedic astrology, you have this 27 nakshatras or lunar mansions, and each nakshatra has its own symbols and deities. Like, the Ashwini Nakshatra deity are the Ashwini Kumaras, if I'm right. Okay, so the Magha Nakshatra, which comes under the Leo zodiac sign, is symbolized by the royal throne or the palanquin. And the deity of this nakshatra is the Pitris or the ancestor. Pitris mean ancestor. So this nakshatra is all about carrying the tradition forward, the lineage, and honoring the traditions and honoring your ancestors. So it's also about leadership and the royal lineage, the royal things. So that's the symbolism related to that. Now, just like the ancestor veneration rituals in India, China, Japan, and Korea, and other Asian, Southeast Asian countries have their own rituals. And in China, Taiwan, Japan, you can find these ancestral shrines, which are like highly decorated shrines dedicated to the veneration of their ancestors. And each family or clan have their own shrine. So I didn't do much of those because it's like very particular to a family. It's not like generic to all the people, like how temples in India are open for everybody. So these are the shrines in Taiwan, ancestral shrines in Taiwan dedicated to a particular family. Like, in Asian countries, East Asian countries have surnames like Lin and other examples I cannot remember at the moment. And for each surname, like, it's a clan name. So for each clan, there's an ancestral shrine dedicated. So this is another one in Vietnam. And this is like a small wooden house where they venerate their ancestor. You can find this in China, Japan, and Korea. Like sometimes in the shrines, you can find these tablets that contain the name of the ancestors, and people offer food and they venerate them. And we have some more shrines over here. Yeah, this is a shrine, ancestral shrine in China. This is a ancestral shrine from Korea. Of course, I have not exactly illustrated or drawn them as it is in the country. I had to change a few details because it cannot be so specific since they're related to a particular family. So this is another ancestral shrine in China. And what else? Yeah, this one's from Korea. It's like, I think, a royal ancestral shrine. You can find a painting of this in the royal documents. Okay, so in Japan, they have this thing called kamidana, which is like small wooden houses, a place to venerate the ancestors, and they hang this in their house. So these are kamidana. You can find some more here. And then, what else? And in Thailand, you can find these spirit houses. So they're called Sanfrakong. So yeah, they're called sanfrafam, which are like small wooden spirit house, and they decorate it with plants and flowers, flower garland, and it's a place to venerate the ancestor. They're called spirit houses, and they're like so cute, and so some of them are like very detailed. And it's such a beautiful tradition, honoring your ancestor, remembering the dead, remembering where you come from. That's the most important aspect of this whole ancestor worship. Remembering your roots, where you come from, and who came before you. And then we have some places from Nepal, like for example, Barak Kshetra, and it's a very ancient place, and it's said to be the place where the Varaha avatar of Lord Vishnu, after he rescued Earth from the floods, he descended on Earth and resided at the bank of Koshi River with his wife Lakshmi. So this is the place related to that legend, and it's very significant for Pindadan and Pitrupaksha rituals. And another place is the Gokarneshwar temple in Nepal, and we have one more. It's the Muktinath temple again in Nepal. And the architecture is very similar to the pagoda you find in Japan and China. Very interesting. And then we have these bamboo sticks with lamp hanging them. So while I was doing my research on the ancestor worship tradition in the northeast states in India, I came across an article that talked about hanging lamps on bamboo trees, damkuta. I couldn't find more information on them, unfortunately, so I just had to improvise a little bit. And the one thing that keeps the Asian culture together is rice. Like, rice has a lot of significance, and there's a reason why they offer rice to the dead, the ancestors, especially in Indian culture. I'll come to that in a minute. And also the lighting of incense sticks, very common in Asian cultures. And coming to the crows, in Indian culture, crows are associated with ancestors. They are said to be the messengers of the dead, and they say that if the crow eats the food, the pinda that you offer, it means that your ancestors have accepted your offer and that they are going to be at peace. And in East Asian culture, they say that if a butterfly lands on you after someone close to you passed away, it's like them coming to you. Sometimes they come in the form of butterfly, so that's another significance. Oh, I forgot. In Japan, there's this festival called Obon Festival where they light the city with these lamps, and it's a festival that is dedicated to honoring the dead and ancestors. And in China, you can find this ghost festival. I couldn't read too much about it because I was saturated with information. But yeah, each countries in Asia have their own traditions. So the reason why rice holds a very significant place in ancestor worship in Indian culture especially is because they say in Kali Yuga, Brahma is in the rice, in the crops. And another reason is that when it rains, your ancestors, like when somebody dies and when it rains, their essence is in the rain, and when it falls on the crop, the essence is in the flowers and the crop, and the crops mainly here are like grains, white rice, wheat, and other grains. So offering those grains is like giving back. So the reason why I chose ancestor worship for this architectural series is because architecture is not just about buildings. The ancient architecture especially is very much influenced by culture, tradition, and religion. It kind of reflects the society that lived back then. And in each of my series, there's some aspect of the tradition that the architecture reflects. In this one, it reflects the ancestor worship. And all these temples are very significant places for ancestor worship. Not just the temples, the shrines, and the spirit houses, and all the smaller things. Oh, I forgot. In Indonesia, they have these carved megaliths, just like the Kasi megalith. They have this megalith tomb where they lay a block of rectangular stone and erect another rectangular stone with carvings on it. You can find these in the Sumba tribe in Indonesia. So that's another thing. And yeah, it's a very interesting subject, And architecture is so significant in human history. It reflects a lot of the society, and it holds so many stories, so much significance. So it's not just a piece of building. So that's what I wanted to convey in this work, and it's quite big. It's very big. And it was such a pain in the ass to draw these tiny buildings because, boy, drawing on canvas is not at all easy, I tell you. So that's about it for today. Seeing if I missed anything, I think I've spoken too much already. So thank you for your time. Thank you for watching my video, and I really appreciate your support. And I'm doing my best as an artist to talk about my art and making people aware of the importance of art. And I strongly believe that art is one of the best mediums to bridge culture, to bridge generation gaps, and bring different people together. So I'm doing my bit as an artist, and I'll see you next time.